you have diabetes and have been told that you need to live with it and manage by taking medications. And you are tired of taking pills and pricking yourself with needles and looking for an alternative to see if there is a way you can get rid of these diseases naturally. Good news. Yes, there is. You can reverse type 2 diabetes. And I will share with you 10 ways on how you can reverse type 2 diabetes. I am Rajitha Bamakanti, registered nurse, faith-based holistic coach, and culinary coach. About 1 in 10 Americans have diabetes, and approximately 90 to 95% of them have type 2 diabetes. Here's another alarming statistic. 1 in 3 of them have prediabetes, and more than 84% of them don't even know that they have it. Prediabetes is a condition that precedes diabetes. It is entirely possible to both prevent as well as reverse type 2 diabetes. Unfortunately, a lot of the advice that's given is to manage with medications. People are made to believe that they are stuck with the medications for the rest of their life, and they just need to manage this diabetes, especially type 2 diabetes. Majority of them think that it is a problem because of blood sugars. But this is the ultimate effect rather than the actual cause of it. The main driver for this condition is insulin resistance. Studies have shown that eating a diet high in fats can cause those fatty particles to get built up inside the cells. And that fatty particles over time interfere with the insulin's ability to move the sugar out of your bloodstream into the cells. Instead of powering the cells in your body, the glucose remains inside in your bloodstream. That leads to insulin resistance and diabetes eventually. Let's learn about type 2 diabetes, or the other name for it is insulin resistance. Okay, to understand how it works, let's consider this image here. The blue oval part is a cell. Imagine that's a cell, and the red dots outside of that is the glucose molecules in your bloodstream. And also you have something called insulin. It's a hormone. That's the key that's going to get the glucose into the cells. And the yellow globs inside the cells are fat. So understand, when you have normal cell, what is the process? So when we eat food, the glucose gets into the bloodstream. The red dots are the glucose that are hanging out in the bloodstream. And then this glucose needs to go into the cell. In order for it to go into the cell, the two black doorways, that's the doorway it needs to open up. But you need a key to open that doorway for the glucose to go in. The key is insulin. So the top image, the glucose is hanging outside in the bloodstream. The door opened because the key got in, the insulin got in there, opened the door, and then the next image, you see glucose went into the cells. Then the next process is that glucose will be later on used as energy for you. What is insulin resistance? So let's understand that. So here again, with that same images of the cell, the fat, insulin, glucose, and the gateways open. So the first image on the left is the glucose that you got into the bloodstream after you ate. It's hanging out in the blood. The gate is closed. There is insulin, and also the fat globs are inside your cell. So the next image on the right, you can see the insulin is there. The key is trying to go in to open the door, but the door is not opening because the fat globs are blocking it. It's like a lock where you have that little hole. You're trying to put the key in, but it is covered up. That hole is covered up with gum. You know, when you chew a gum, piece of gum and put it in there. So even though you have the key, you have the hole, it's not going in because it is blocked. The same concept here, the fat globs are blocking from that insulin to open up those gates. So the glucose is not going in, it's hanging out in the blood. The whole purpose of using the energy, how you can use the energy is when the glucose goes into the cells. Where is this fat coming from in the cells? It's coming from what you eat. The fish, the pig, the chicken, the beef, and the olive oil. Let's really look at that content here. Look at the fat content. Even that white meat you think that you eat from chicken, it's healthy, that has 23% of fat. Even lean beef has 29%, salmon 52%. The olive oil that you think it's very, very healthy has 100% fat. All right, so what is insulin resistance? When you do have insulin, but you are not able to open it. It's unable to use that insulin. Or you don't have adequate insulin. That's when it's called insulin resistance. Let's look at a study that was done, plant-based versus portion control, that's primarily recommended by the American Diabetes Association. This study was conducted by Dr. Bernard and his group, and they have conducted a 22-week study. As you can see, the blue graph line is the vegan diet, that is a low-fat plant-based diet, and the red graph line is the American Diabetes Association recommended diet, which is portion control diet. So after 22 weeks, they have seen A1C drop about 0.24 when they followed a vegan diet versus ADA diet. In 22 weeks, A1C came down comparatively about 0.66 at 22 weeks. Vegan diet versus ADA diet. A1C is a 3-month average of blood sugars that are typically measured at your doctor's office. All right. Diabetes diets are typically, they call for portion control, carbohydrate limits, counting carbs, and for those who are overweight, restricting calories. Fortunately, there is another way to reverse diabetes. If you have been told that you have type 2 diabetes, or if you have been told that you are at high risk for diabetes, then here are 10 ways of how to start reversing diabetes. These you can start immediately and start seeing the effects. Number one, add quality, healthy, natural fats to your diet, like almonds, walnuts, avocados. Number two, do not waste your energy counting calories. Just focus on quality of the food that you're eating. Number three, feed your gut with variety of foods that your gut loves to thrive on, such as colorful vegetables, a wide variety of colorful vegetables that have more phytonutrients that you can feed that gut, and those gut bugs will be happy. Number four, walk for at least 15 minutes after each meal. Number five, include high quality proteins like the beans, legumes to reduce the insulin resistance. Chickpeas, black beans, pinto beans have compounds that block the starch enzymes that will allow some starch to make down to your colon to feed the good gut bacteria. Number six, include 1 to 1/3 cup of millets in your diets. These have polyphenols, and the starches that are in these millets act as starch blockers. And also millets have this slow emptying. They stay in your stomach much longer and keep you satiated. It empties very slowly out of your stomach, unlike the white rice pasta and boiled potatoes. Number seven, consider a form of a fast that is time restricted feeding, which means eating during a specific window of time and choosing not to eat the other periods of the time, like eating for 8 hours and then fasting rest of the time. This is a great way to reduce your insulin resistance and improve your insulin uptake in your body. Number 8 is avoid all refined carbohydrates. That includes pasta, rice, and bread. Number 9, avoid all sugar in your diet. Added sugar, not natural. You can have fruits, but added sugar. Number 10, avoid all sweet drinks. Those sweet drinks don't serve any purpose to you. These are the 10 ways you can reverse diabetes. So you got all of this. What's the moral of the story? How can you get rid of that fat in the body to reverse diabetes? Yes, you can reverse diabetes. The way to do that is you need to stick to plant-based diets. That is low-fat plant-based diet. When you eat that, the fiber in it acts as a scrubber to scrub out all that fat that you have accumulated inside of the body. All right, so what is this plant-based diet? Plant-based diet is about eating food that is more derived from plants, which includes vegetables, fruits, whole grains, legumes, beans, nuts, and seeds. And when you say fruits, it is fresh fruits I'm talking about. Try to avoid dried fruits because they are more calorie dense because all the water in it is removed. And also, if it is in a can, it is added with a lot of sugary syrup in it. So avoid that. That's why it's best to have fresh fruits or frozen fruits. Vegetables, the same thing. Fresh and frozen are really good. You can have canned food, but make sure it's low sodium, or rinse it out at least 3 times before you use it. Try to avoid fried vegetables or vegetable juices because you want the whole vegetable that has the fiber in that. That's going to help you fill your stomach up and also cleans out the fat in your body. Okay, let's look at the grains. We are talking about whole grains like whole wheat bread, whole wheat pasta, brown rice, black rice, wild rice, red rice, quinoa, oats such as rolled oats, steel cut oats, millets, buckwheat. Refrain from refined grains like wheat bread, wheat pasta, white rice. These are all refined. What does refined mean? As you can see in this image, there's a pointer towards endosperm, the major part of that grain. So in refined, what happens, all you have is that endosperm. All the stuff outside, the bran and the germ, all of that is processed out during processing. Versus in a whole grain, it has everything. It contains the bran, the germ, the endosperms. You'll get the whole grain in it. So that's when you get the most benefit out of it. That's why it's recommended to have whole grains. Yes, fiber is a carbohydrate, but don't shy away from it. Look at the benefits of the fiber. It lowers weight, lowers your blood sugar, lowers cholesterol, lowers blood pressure, no constipation, lowers risk of colon cancer and diverticulitis. Fiber has lots of benefits. You want fiber. Okay, you're saying, where can I get my protein if I go plant-based? There is plenty of protein in the plant-based diet that you eat. As you can see, hemp seeds have 23 grams, of protein. Almonds, pistachio, flax seeds, tofu, oats, chia seeds, cashew nuts, hazelnuts, walnuts, soybeans, pecans, lentils, garbanzo beans, wheat bread, lima beans, macadamia nuts, green peas, pinto beans, kidney beans, quinoa, spinach, brown rice, even potato has protein. So as long as you eat a variety of food, variety of fruits, vegetables, and grains, you will have plenty of protein. You don't need to worry about that. You're saying, okay, where do I get my calcium? Even in all the vegetables, plenty of vegetables have lots of calcium in it, like broccoli, bok choy, turnip, avocados, celery, beans, Swiss chard, spinach, all of these, leeks, pumpkin seeds, almonds, they all have calcium. The amount your body needs, you get adequate from that. All right, so what are the tips to follow? Make vegetables as the center of your plate, followed by beans, grains, and fruit. Give vegetables a lot of love. If you don't have time to cook, just put on a Netflix show and start cooking. Make batch cooking, bulk cooking, and then you can enhance with all the different flavors so that it tastes really good. This is the way to go to reverse diabetes, and that's how you can enjoy by making food very, very flavorful. The food can taste really good. A diet that is centered around whole plant-based and that is variety of fruits, vegetables, grains, legumes helps in preventing diabetes, obesity, kidney disease, cardiovascular disease, and also cancer. Not just prevention, but also with treatments. Until next time, include more plants into your diets, which is a powerful tool to preventing, managing, and even reversing type 2 diabetes.